Hello, my name is Ani Baker.
Hi, my name is Mia Brown.
How do you feel like you got there?
I am drawn to taking care of people naturally, and I do actually love it. I had to learn all this just by being still, sitting, listening, learning.
Hi, this is Dr. Ken Duckworth. I'm the Chief Medical Officer of the National Alliance on Mental Illness, an organization long interested and devoted to the support of caregivers who represent a backbone of mental health recovery. Today's episode 1 is going to be focusing on the caregiving role, and caregivers are best listened to and understood in their first-person experience. Thank you for joining.
Hello, my name is Ani Baker. I am a retired public school teacher. I taught in the public school system for 12 years for students with mild to moderate special needs, kinder through 3rd grade.
Hi, my name is Mia Brown, and I am a caregiver at a transitional house for young adults at risk. My girls have been trafficked, and they're getting out of the life right now. So that's what I do, and I'm also the mother of a special needs child, and I caregive basically 24 hours a day.
So I actually asked Mia to choose the puzzle that she wanted to, and she was drawn to the one that says it's okay to not be okay. And then when we came in, I was like, I need that message. And what did you say?
I'm practicing it every day. This is my go-to attitude for life now.
Yeah.
When I'm not okay, I usually now don't have a problem saying it. It took me a while because in my culture, we are supposed to be strong all the time. We're supposed to be the backbone of everything. We're supposed to hold up everybody's secrets, everybody's problems, and we're supposed to be okay. But there are times when I'm not, and now I can say that loud and proud. Do not bother me. I'm not okay. And if you do bother me, you might not be okay. So
I love it so much.
That's where I'm at in life right now.
How do you feel like you got there?
I am drawn to taking care of people naturally, and I do actually love it. So I know that if I don't say something, once I'm down longer than I'm supposed to be. So I don't want to do that because a lot of people depend on me. And I'm not saying that from a stressful point of view. I'm saying it from a proud.
Yeah.
I'm proud of that. I'm proud that, the girls that I've graduated out of my program, they live in Las Vegas. They have their boyfriends and all that, but they still call me and say, hey, how do you make this pot roast? Yeah. I'm like, okay, girl, we'll get through it, So they'll call me and, I just had a car accident. 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. There's a lot of people like, oh, you got to turn yourself off. I know when to turn myself off, but when someone needs me and I'm supposed to be there, I know I'm supposed to be there.
So when you take that downtime, you know that it's refueling you so that you are capable. And so do you find that people sometimes take it personally if you're like setting a boundary, like this is not the time to talk to me, and they misunderstand that it's a gift to them as well to allow you to have your time?
It was like that in the beginning because I didn't know how to say no before.
Ooh.
So when I finally did start saying no, they were like, oh, wait, what is this?
They were like, you just said no to me?
So I literally, everybody that's in my circle that needs me, that I need, I have had conversations with them like, hey, when I'm on break, it has nothing to do with you. If there's an emergency, like I'm going to, jump in. But if I'm telling you that I'm not available, just let me not be available.
Right.
And they pretty much got it. Like sometimes I have some girls that are just still really, really needy. And even my own children.
Yeah.
They're still knocking on my door.
Yeah.
Mom, I need you to come make me some cereal. No, you don't. No,
you don't. Make it yourself.
You can make cereal yourself. So, it's just, but my kids, honestly, it's really been interesting to see them kind of follow suit. Because there's times that I'm in my room and I can hear them like, oh, well, don't bother her because she's asleep. We could just ask, a little later. If it's not a really big problem, if they're not like having each other in a headlock or something, like they usually kind of figure it out. And I can hear this going on and I'm like, I did this. So that's another proud moment for me. I'm like, I did that, so they know. But
you're teaching them to advocate for you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
And learn themselves too, because I'm like, I always tell them like, mom's not going to be here forever.
Right. Oh, I just got
Mom's
chills.
not going to be here forever.
You're preparing them for the world.
Yeah, it's scary. Even saying that out loud, I think I only say it as practice.
For yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm so scared of that. I'm like, wait a minute, how is this world going to go on if I'm not here?
Oh
but
my
yeah, in all actuality, like I'm, trying to get them ready for manhood,
As a fellow caretaker by nature, how did you learn to say no? Because I am still working on it.
It's not going to go the way you're going to think. Like, even me saying it sounds more put together than it really is. Because they'll still try to call me or still try to get in contact with me. But if they know I don't answer, and by the time I get back with them, we can repair that. So I'm already knowing, like, okay, I didn't answer the phone for a few days for one of these girls who's very needy. She's going to be like, what the F? Where were you at? Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to sit there and listen to it for a little while, and then I'm going to repair her. Girl, I had to take some wine. I had to take my time, and so after a couple of jokes, after a couple of, laughs or whatever we have to do to repair that, we're back to normal because she knows it's genuine. She knows it's love. She knows that I have to take that time. She knows that I have a lot going on because I'm very honest with people, if anything else. I'm an open book. Yeah. I don't have very much to hide. Well, I don't have anything to hide. I've always been that way. So, just telling the truth is pretty easy for me.
Yeah. Well, they're lucky to have you as a model for that because it is hard for a lot of people. Were you a caretaker in a professional setting before you were a mother?
Yes.
Okay.
I was. I started at a group home. And I was caring for boys at first.
Okay.
And very interesting too, because I ended up having boys, but I later moved on to girls and never left from there. So I only did the boys for like the first couple of years of being in a group home. Okay. And they taught me a lot. What did they teach you? That they don't fight underhanded. Okay. And all that stuff. So I did learn that about my boys. So when they say like, the fight is over, and I'm like, oh, it's really over. But me and my sisters, because it's only been 3 girls, I'm like, no, we're fighting till blood, So these guys are like, they're fighting. And then next time you see them, they're like all good, like playing video games and stuff. So I'm like, so now when I see my boys doing that, I'm like, okay, it's genuine. I don't have to be worried about if they're in there, like, getting ready to knock his brother's head off or something. Like if they say it's over, it's over.
Interesting.
So I did learn that. That was really funny.
How would you explain the differentiation of caretaking for the young women that you work with and caretaking for your sons?
These women are older. They're actually adults. So this was actually pretty hard for me because when I did work with the population of like, group homes and everything, these were children. So I had to abide by a lot of guidelines and laws, and you can't say this, you have to be a role model, you can't use this kind of language. Those are not good examples to give a child. So when I moved into the adult, I'm like, okay, this is kind of difficult because these women are cursing at me. And I'm like, I don't know if I can, handle this. So after a while, I said, you know what? I have to be 100% myself. I have to give them who I am. So me going in, just being this, nails, ghetto hair, and all this stuff, it put them at ease. So I think that just kind of gave me an advantage. And when it was time to talk, me having difficulties growing up in life and, where I grew up and how I grew up, it just kind of flowed. And so us being able to have adult conversation was right on the money for me. Okay. I don't have to kind of sugarcoat with these adult women. They're 18 and above. Yeah. So that was a lot easier, actually.
So interesting. I kind of took a similar approach, even though I taught really young kids, but I just found that like not talking to them like adults, but just talking to them like they're people, rather than like, aw, sweetheart, or like, that's not okay. It's just like, no, talk to them. They don't want to be patronized. They're humans, And it does build that bond.
When I talk to the staff that come on, I just tell them, don't come in and try to be something you're not, because they're going to sniff that out. Yeah. Don't come in like, hey, let's go build a puzzle, or let's go do blah, 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 blah. They're not going to do that with you, because these women have been on the streets. These women have done things that, probably are unthinkable to others. Right. And they're not interested in that. They want you to just sometimes just sit. There's been times in my shift, I will sit with a girl while she's because there's a camera. There's cameras surrounding the house because we have to, make sure that we're safe. The girls will just sit there and watch the cameras all day. Some of them will cry.
Really?
Just nervous, seeing people walk by, and I'm sitting there with them. That's all I'm doing. This is how I'm going to build a bond, because I have to sit here and just be still. I have to listen. I have to watch your body movement. I have to make sure I'm not doing something that's scary or, I'm a tall woman. Like, outside of, this, I'm a big woman. So even me standing up sometimes or hovering over, I had to learn all this just by being still, sitting, listening, learning.
So I assume that a lot of the women that you work with have PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, which I have found that people use very colloquially and they don't understand it. Like, they use that in place of being stressed. Like, oh, I just have PTSD from this sort of like silly experience. And I don't think that people really understand the gravity of what post-traumatic stress disorder actually is. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Since I've been in this field, we've learned to be trauma informed, and that's basically to kind of meet our youth where they're at. Learn their trauma before we start diagnosing or fixing that problem. That's where my relationship building comes in, and I have to figure this out. And so me being still and calm, I'm trying to see, where I'm going and how I'm going to build this relationship. And if this person is suffering from this, it looks more drastic to me. There could be a scent. There can be a gardener. There can be a noise. And when this happens, when this person starts to react,
Triggered.
Immediately.
Yeah.
This person will start acting, can start acting different. Paranoid. Sometimes they would even act, misbehave, if you will.
Yeah.
And so those are the things that I kind of look for, like, okay, what just happened?
Yeah.
Why is this person yelling now? I really do pay attention to that, because there's sometimes that somebody can just be stressed out. Like, I got a lot going on. I have a test and this and that and that. So they're stressed out. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
So when I know that it's time for a gardener to come, and I keep saying gardener because we had this situation before. A girl was in the living room, and you can see outside the door, and the gardener was in the back, and she immediately kind of just froze. And I'm kind of looking at her like, you're usually loud like me, like, what's going on, and I'm looking at her, and she didn't say anything. And this guy would come like every 2 Wednesdays, and she didn't say anything for like probably a month. And I kind of noticed, like, why does she always come downstairs? She's still just watching these cameras, making sure that this guy is just doing that. So finally I just said something like, hey, what is this? And she was like, I don't really trust him.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay. I didn't need any more explanation, because I knew for sure she did not know this person. And I knew, because of the way her body reacted, this is not usually her. This is what this is.
Yeah.
This is not just, I'm stressed out. No, she's got an issue with this situation.
Yeah, it's bringing something up for her.
Yeah, definitely.
Something I learned about PTSD is, like, people will try to talk you out. If you're having a PTSD response, they'll be like, but you're safe now, it's fine.
Oh, yeah.
But when you're going into a post-traumatic stress disorder response, like, you're not fine. Your body believes that it's back in the dangerous situation.
Absolutely.
And all of those chemicals start pumping through your veins again. It's the same for the sufferer. A lot of people don't understand that, and they'll try to talk people out of their triggers.
Definitely.
And it's like,
I don't
that's
use
not
that
how it
word.
works.
You're safe.
Oh, interesting.
I don't say that.
Why not?
Because I don't know what that looks like to them. I wouldn't know what your safe looks like. Yeah. So I don't say, like, you're gonna be safe with me.
Right.
You might not be safe with me.
Right.
Because I don't know if I'm gonna trigger something. So that's one thing I learned. I don't say that. I say, hey, I'm working on making this comfortable for you.
Wow.
We can work on making things comfortable for you.
Wow.
Tell me how you are gonna feel safe with me. Tell me what makes you feel uncomfortable. We're gonna work on all that first.
Wow.
Because I cannot make anybody feel safe. I don't feel safe with me.
Totally.
I'm out to the moon sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. So I can't guarantee anyone's safety.
Yeah.
So I don't say that.
It's very intuitive.
Yeah.
I know you personally, and also just in this conversation, I know that you give of yourself so much to the people that you work with. How do you maintain or reserve energy to also give to your children when you get home? Like, how do you balance that? How do you renew yourself?
I'm learning to be spontaneous and taking my kids with me. I want my kids to remember that about their mom. There are certain things I remember about my mom that it will not go anywhere. How solid my mom was, and I can take that to the grave. Like, my mom was so solid. She would always have my back no matter what. Even if I was wrong, she would have my back first and then yell at me in private,
Wow.
So I always remember that, but I always want my kids to know, like, man, my mom used to be a lot of fun. She had a really good sense of humor, and we used to just do stuff at the drop of a hat. So I always just want to be that person for them. And that's how I try to make my kids feel safe.
That episode covered some important ground, including the need for the caregivers to have a good understanding of the traumatic experience of the people they're caring for, to be mindful to not activate triggers or pre-existing vulnerabilities. And I thank you for joining that part 1.
How can you tell when you are overwhelmed or reaching burnout?
If I'm like short, then they know they're not getting the 100% me. I like being around people. That's why I think that me being on call 24 hours a day doesn't bother me as much as it would somebody else. If your pilot doesn't relight, then this is probably not the place for you. And that's okay.